Hi, you're listening to This Is Not Your Practice Life. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friends. I'm a certified life and emotional intelligence coach. And if you really want to step into your highest self, there are a few non-negotiables you're going to have to learn, and I am just the person to help you do it. No matter your past, I'm here to help you create a more fulfilling future. So stick around with me. Not only will I teach you how to navigate your brain's daily mind drama, but I'll help you actually understand your mind, your emotions, why you do the things you do, and why others do the things they do. Most importantly, I'll help you build the self-awareness skills to create whatever results you want. It's never too late to change the trajectory of your life. After all, this is not your practice life. Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. My name is Macy, and I am so thrilled you're joining me today. If you're brand new to the podcast, welcome. And if you're coming back for another season, welcome back, and thank you so much for being here. So we are 15 days into the new year, 15 days into 2024. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm curious to know, even though you can't talk back, I'm curious to have you reflect on yourself and see if you're proud of the things that you're doing 15 days into the new year, or if you feel like you've already backslid from where you thought you would be when the new year started. So it's very common that when a new year begins, we set a bunch of resolutions, and maybe not even a bunch. Maybe we just have a couple goals or things that we want to change that are important to us. We make promises to ourselves. We tell ourselves, this is going to be different. I just need a new year and a new start to be able to do it. I want to be able to get through the holidays first and enjoy my time. Like, this is the story, right? So we've done this. We entered the new year. We're in 2024 now. And I want you to reflect on your behavior thus far. How are you actually feeling? What are you actually doing? And do you feel confident that you're heading towards the result that you want to see, whether that's personally or professionally? So we know that our brain, if you've been here a while, you definitely know this, that your brain is the creator of everything that you experience. Everything that you create in your life is based on how your brain operates. And what we also know is that if you're not consciously making decisions to change the trajectory of the things that are not working in your life, things will remain the same. It's simple to say it out loud. It's more difficult when you're the person that has to be consciously choosing to go against your brain's comfort zone and do something different. And there's actually a concept that I teach my clients called the 95 versus 5%. And I think I've even touched on it on this podcast, but here are the basics, what you have to know, okay? You have to know that 95% of the way that your brain operates is through subconscious programming and what it's used to doing. So this just means that 95% of your brain power focuses on what it already knows and uses what it already knows to make all of your decisions every single day. And only 5% of your brain power is conscious in that it will choose to do something different, something that will serve you. So I know that I always give like the gym and working out as an example, but it's one of the easiest, I think, for people to comprehend, just as far as examples. And also, it's very common that people want certain things to change maybe within their body, right? They want to feel better. Maybe they want to look better. They want to fit into a certain size, or they want to feel a certain way in their clothes. And so it's just an easy example, but there are a million other examples for this. But if you made, for instance, a resolution at the beginning of the year that you wanted to start eating better and working out, this is what you're up against. It took the 5% of your brain power available, the conscious decision making, to decide that you were going to work out eat better, feel better, take charge of your health, right? So 5% of your brain power that's available decided that consciously. You maybe got through the holidays and consciously decided it's going to be different in 2024. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to work out, I'm going to eat better, and I'm going to just make overall more healthy decisions for myself. So the 5% of brain power that we have to make decisions to do something new is in charge of that. That is maybe what you experienced with whatever goals you set, any resolutions that you set, anything that you decided you wanted to do differently this year. 5% of your brain came into play and made that conscious decision. But here is why you may have already quit or have found that you have backslid in just 15 days of the new year. It's because of the 95% of your brain that operates subconsciously and on autopilot. And what this means is that 95% of your brain power works against what you want for yourself subconsciously. So I want you to think about it. You know the example of like there's an angel and the devil on our shoulder, right? The angel tells us all the good things we should be doing, and the devil, basically is naughty and tells us everything that we want to hear, but we shouldn't really be doing. So I want you to imagine this. If you were looking at a size difference between the angel and the devil, you've got this teeny tiny little angel the size of a Polly Pocket on your shoulder, on one shoulder, telling you, go work out, go do the thing. You said it was going to be different. We're going to do it different, okay? And then you've got the size of maybe like, I don't know, a Barbie doll on the other shoulder dressed in a devil uniform. That's like, you know what? There's always next month. There's always next year. We've already failed this time. We're already doing the same thing that we always do. We might as well just give it up. It's never going to change. We're never going to be different. This is what always happens. The self-sabotaging, okay? So imagine it. You've got a Polly Pocket on one shoulder and you've got the Barbie on the other. The difference in size is tremendous. 95% of your brain is already programmed to do whatever you've been doing for however old you are and for however long that pattern has existed. So if you're 45 and you've had 20 years of quitting on yourself, 20 years of not being successful at the eating or the diet or the meal prep or the working out or, starting something and finishing something, if you've got 20 years of evidence of it not working, that is what is programmed in the 95% of your subconscious brain power, which means that even when 5% of your conscious self says it's going to be different, you have 95% of your power working against you, right? The devil tries to essentially come over and squish the Polly Pocket. The Barbie tries to squish the Polly Pocket. Okay, because it's like, that's not what we've been doing. That's not what we're used to. And what you're trying to get me to do is so unpredictable. We don't even know if it's going to work. We don't know if, we're going to feel good all the time by doing it. And we really don't want to do it. It's not familiar. We can't just, start it and not think about it and do it. So essentially, like what the brain enjoys is the ability to perform a task without thinking about it. So if you drive to work the same way every single day, that is stored in the 95%. If you consciously decide that you're going to start driving a different way to work, what your brain is going to tell you is, let's go the normal, fastest, easiest way, which is the way that we've been driving to work every single day for the past 10 years. Why are you trying to change it? Like when we go the way that we've always gone for 10 years, we don't have to think about it. We can zone out. We can be thinking about a million other things. We don't even recognize when we're at a stoplight or how we even got to work. We don't remember the turns. Like we don't remember any of it. It's great. That's what our brain essentially says. It's like, I don't have to think about it. So I like this way more. It's more comfortable to me. Can we just keep going the way we've always gone? Because then there's less effort involved. I don't have to actually use my brain. Okay, I'm using my brain in the most efficient way possible, which is to zone out and not think about it. That's how 95% of our brain power is built. So, whenever you decide that you're going to become a different version of yourself, or you decide that you're going to do different things, you're going to try different things, you're going to become the best, most highest version of yourself, 5% of you has the power to do so. 95% of your power is going to try to work against what you're trying to do. It's like trying to push yourself up the river against the current. That's essentially what happens. So if you're 15 days into the new year and you already feel like you've fudged it up, I'm here to tell you that isn't true. This is the important message. This is what I really want you to take away from this. You haven't messed it up. Your brain is going to try really hard to make you believe that you did. It's going to make you think you need to wait for the start of a new month, or that you need to wait until the start of a new week. Which, by the way, today, if you're listening to this when it releases on a Monday, what better way to start than on a Monday, right? But everybody has a different measurement for when they like to start things. Some people, it's the weekend. It's all BS, right? The brain thinks that it has to wait for a perfect time, especially if you're a perfectionist or someone who thinks in all or nothing. It's either I go all in and I'm doing it perfectly, or I'm all out. If that's who you are, I will tell you right now, your life is going to be very hard. And I speak from experience, because when I first hired my coach, I was like, oh, all or nothing, that is me. When it came to like fitness goals, I'm like, I'm either in the gym 5 days a week, working out, heavy lifting, eating my prep meals, my chicken, my broccoli, and doing amazing. Or there's the version of me that takes one bite of cake and eats the whole cake and then stops working out and then self-sabotages and tells myself I messed it all up. And then I go off track. And so I was so terrified to create balance in my life. And that's what happens for a lot of my clients. They have no balance. It can be, I have to work all the time. I don't have time to like slow down and be present, or take time off to be sick or spend time with my family, right? They have this all or nothing thinking, whether it's personal or professional. And so if you're nodding your head like, that's me, I just want you to know that you need to call your brain out on that as well. There's no such thing as all or nothing, right? It's something that's made up to serve us in our mind. We really do love believing that that's true. And we can find the evidence for it feeling true for us because we can look at all the times we've done something perfectly and then all the times where we've backslid and we've done a horrible job. And somehow we make it up, into this big thing to mean that we're not good enough or we can't stick with things. Like we make it into this full-blown story that becomes a part of our personality, and we think something's wrong with us. And I'm telling you right now, nothing is wrong with you. It's what you're up against is the 95 versus 5% brain power kind of battle, right? The Polly Pocket versus the Barbie, or, the little tiny figure versus the G.I. Joe if you're a guy or whatever. So there is a big difference. And the reason that this concept can really help you is because if there's something that you want to do or change in your life, you have to know you're going to be up against your own brain. It's a fact. You're going to be up against your own brain. There's no getting around it. Your brain was designed to be self-sufficient as possible, to run on autopilot in an attempt to make life the easiest, to try and keep you in a place of like homeostasis and out of fight or flight. Like your brain wants you to have the most simple life as possible. And sometimes that means it will make decisions that it's been making for years, even if those decisions are hurting you more than helping you, are keeping you from what you want rather than getting you closer to what you want. Your brain just wants it to be the most comfortable process ever. So even for me, 15 days in, like I had told myself, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go sign up on January 1 for a membership. and I'm going to start going to the gym. It's 15 days in. I have not stepped foot in the gym. So what I am doing is re-evaluating and coming back to myself and telling myself, this doesn't mean you're 15 days too late. This doesn't mean you've effed it up for the year. What you need to do is just go online, sign up for the membership, put in all your information, and walk your happy little ass into the gym on the next day, like tomorrow. Like I need to do that tomorrow, right? I need to just do it. I could do it even tonight after recording this podcast. Like the excuses that my 95% are coming up with are unbelievable. Like I'm fighting myself so hard. No one is exempt from it. You're not going to get to a point where you're perfect at it, but here is what you can look forward to. When you decide consciously that you are going to commit to something, okay? You're going to commit, not be motivated. There's a difference. I did an episode on that a couple weeks ago. Maybe not even a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, about the difference between committing versus being motivated, okay? There's a big difference. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are fleeting, which means if you're waiting to feel motivated to go work out, to prep your meals, to start a business, to start a podcast, to do the thing that scares you, to have the hard conversation, to address something that needs to be addressed. If you're waiting to feel motivated to do it, you're going to be waiting a long time. You're not making your decisions from a committed place. You're doing it based on an emotion, and emotions change moment to moment. So motivation is not a good reason to do or not do something. The difference needs to be I'm committed, right? I can't keep like 15 days in for myself. I'm speaking to myself. I can't wait for motivation to hit in order to go to the gym. I can't do that because I'm going to tell you right now, I probably won't feel motivated the rest of the year. That's truly so serious. Like my 95% is like, hell no. We're fine. It's not like, we're totally unhealthy. And my 95% is just freaking out. Like, don't go to the gym. We'd just much rather stay on the couch or eat snacks or, we can at least eat healthier, even if we don't work out. Don't you want to just stay home and not work out? And I'm like, yeah, of course I do, but I either give in to that 95% and nothing changes, or I use my 5% of conscious brain power and say, I'm committed to putting myself in the gym even when it's hard. I'm committed to continue going even when it's hard. I'm committed to eating healthier even when it's hard. And I'm also committed to balance and not going into this thinking of all or nothing. So if I miss a day or 2 or 3 at the gym, I'm not going to beat myself up and use it as an excuse to wait until next year to start going to the gym, right? That's the difference. Now, here's what I wanted to say about this. When you consciously decide that you're going to commit to something, okay? So you can start right now. When you use your 5% of brain power to commit to something, and you actively continue to use your 5% very consciously every single time it's hard, you come back to the 5%. Every single time the 95% little devil on your shoulder tries to bully you into reverting back to old habits, you consciously push that little devil out of the way and you say, I'm going to do my 5% right now. I'm going to use my 5% right now. And the more that you do that, guess what happens over the course of several months? When you've consciously made changes from the 5% version of yourself, of your brain power, it eventually transfers over into the 95% of your programming. So that thing that originally felt really, really, really hard for you to do is now programmed on autopilot. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. You can trust yourself to follow it through because you've consciously made that decision so many times from the 5% that it now does this wonderful, beautiful thing where it transfers over. Now it's a part of who you are. Now it's a part of your 95% conditioning. And now it's not so much a little devil, right? It's like a little devil with a halo or something like that. It starts to switch things out. And when you do that with multiple categories in your life, things become a lot more simple, right? Not ever always easy, but more simple. Okay? So I want you to think about that. Look at where you are so far, 15 days in, and whether you felt like you were getting ready to give yourself permission to quit. I want to encourage you don't. Or you've already quit. I want to encourage you to use your 5%, right? We're going to do this from your emotionally intelligent self, which means that you're going to show up for yourself differently than you have in the past. You're going to feel the uncomfortable emotions of doing something different, the thing that you really want a result from, and you're going to feel all of the hard things and do the steps anyways. Okay? This is a part of raising your self-concept. This is a part of raising your emotional intelligence. This is a part of learning how to use your mind on a more skillful level. It's literally telling yourself, it's not over. I haven't messed it up. I haven't effed up. I'm not a failure. This is not who I am. This is just something that I'm doing, and whatever I'm doing, I can choose to change, right? We're not going to make a whole identity out of what you haven't done well for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. That has to change. And if you want that to change, it also requires emotionally intelligent behaviors and thinking, right? Being willing to feel uncomfortable and change your stories. Let go of the stories that aren't serving you and decide actively you're going to do something different to get a different result. And if you need this kind of work, this is what I call more advanced level work, where you really want things in your life to be different, or you want things to change, or there's a result you're very, very interested in getting for your life, but you notice that your brain tries to pull you off track. It tries to self-sabotage. Your emotions get in the way. You get all in your head. And before you know it, you're not getting the result that you really, really want. If that is you, and especially if you've already had some coaching, or you're familiar with personal development, or you've been a longtime listener of the podcast, or you've worked with someone, like a coach in the past, then you're likely ready for the hybrid experience. It goes beyond the foundational emotional intelligence skills, and it cranks it up several notches to help you step into the self-concept of who you need to be and how you need to show up in order to get the things that you want, to stop quitting on yourself, to stop the self-sabotaging, to actually grow your emotional intelligence so much that there's no way you can fail because you're willing to feel every emotion. You're able to spot your blind spots. You're able to improve your self-awareness to see things differently, and you're able to show up, most importantly, for yourself differently. Like, really, this is the program where, you're able to look back and say, even 6 months ago, I wouldn't have handled this situation the way that I'm handling it now. Or even 6 months ago, I wouldn't have seen this the way I'm seeing it now, and therefore be able to make these very powerful decisions for myself. So if that sounds like what you need, the work that you need, especially going into 2024, I want to encourage you to check out the hybrid experience. You can do that on MacyRenee.com. You can reach out to me with any questions. You still have about 2 weeks left if you're listening to this episode as it releases. You have about 2 weeks left to join the room, the next round, which will start in July 9th to be specific. You can join for $850 a month rather than paying in full for $6,500. So you're welcome to sign up later if you would rather pay in full, or if you want just a simple payment plan like 3 months or 6 months, you can ask me about that. You'll see it on my website soon. But if you're wanting the longest amount of time to pay it off, 8 months, and you're wanting the lowest amount of money that you would pay per month, $850, then get in January, because I'm only offering the $850 a month payment plan for 8 months in January. So as soon as January is over, that option will be removed from the website. You won't be able to join at that price or for that long of a payment plan. You'll only be able to pay in full, or there will be a month where you're able to do a 6-month payment plan. So if you're wanting a lower monthly price to get yourself in this room for July, then just make sure you sign up before the end of January, okay? If you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about the whole thing. So anyways, that's what I have for you today. Check in with yourself, See how you're doing 15 days into the start of the new year. If there's something that you're not happy with and you know you're already falling off track, you need the accountability, you need someone that is going to be catching the things that you're maybe self-sabotaging about or your blind spots, you just want some help staying on track, I can help you with that. Feel free to schedule a consult. We'll talk, we'll see what is the best fit for you for the time being, and we'll go from there. Okay? I want you to be successful. I want 2024 to be a really good year for you, no matter what that means. If that's something simple like having peace and happiness and just presence and slowing down, or if that means revving it up, really going after your goals, doing things that scare the absolute crap out of you, whatever it is, from big to small, doesn't matter. I'd love to help you. So reach out if you need anything, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys. Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. If you'd like to connect on social media, you can find me on both Instagram and Facebook at Macy Renee Coaching. And if you want to stay up to date on all of my offers, announcements, and inspirational emails, you can join my email list at macyrenee.com. In addition, if there's a way that I can further support you in your coaching journey, you can schedule a free 60-minute consult at macyrenee.com anytime you want so we can discuss the best options for you. I look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.